round the corner.
Yeah, I came around the corner and I came around one Sunday and there was graffiti on the wall and it was terrible. And it put it into my mind someone could get rid of the graffiti and put murals on the wall. And that's what put me thinking about the murals of these three
And
people.
it's
And mainly coming around, this is Mary Burns corner up here, and mainly coming around this corner, you can see it
do you want to have a
plainly.
look?
Yeah, sure. If we
Yeah,
go.
you can see it very
You
well
can see
from
it here. If
Yeah,
you can see the wall there, and it's plain there as
let's just cross over and
we're
see.
just yeah. You can see the wall there, and there's three spaces. And in my mind, it came in. There's three people in Baltinglass who are, I won't say world famous, but they're very, very well-renowned people. The first one is about Richard Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Richard Crosby was born in Slaney Lodge in Baltinglass.
Slaney Park.
Slaney Park, sorry, in Baltinglass. And he was born in the mid 18th century. But he was the first Irish aeronaut ever, the first Irishman to fly. And the first air balloon went up in 1783, I think, in France. The Montgolfier brothers was the first manned air balloon flight. And the second air balloon flight was Richard Crosby, who was born in Baltinglass, and he was a well-known scientist, or if you call it a dreamer really, and he was a showman as well. But he built this balloon and he brought it up to Dublin, and he flew this balloon, manned it himself, flew it from Ranelagh Park in Dublin, and it landed. He tried to go across wanted to try and go across the Irish Sea, but in actual fact he landed in Clontarf. But it was the first manned flight after the Montgolfier brothers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me now is an extraordinary feat, and it's not really enough known about him because he was born in Baltinglass. But there's a statue in Ranelagh Park to Richard Crosby, and it's all in that book. That book there, Ascent or Die is the name of the book, and it's written by Brian McMahon. A very, very good book. It's heavy reading, but it's a very good book, and it gives you an insight of what type of person Richard Crosby was.
Brian McMahon was in Baltinglass. He gave a talk at the time of the Balloon Festival.
That's right, yeah.
And the Balloon Festival, the idea behind the Balloon Festival was partly Richard Crosby and partly the last Earl of Aldeburgh, who was a balloonist as well.
He was a balloonist, and he built a balloon up where the present golf club is. He was Lord Stratford, was he?
Lord Aldeburgh.
Lord Aldeburgh.
Yeah, yeah.
And he built a balloon up there, but he wasn't as successful as Richard Crosby.
Yeah. But we had two balloonists.
We had two balloonists in Baltinglass, yeah. Murals to me is a nice way of remembering these people. A lot of places years ago built statues. Now statues are okay, but they're more expensive. But a mural stands out, and every town in Ireland and a lot of Europe, there's murals on the wall for people in the area.
Mm. Well, it would certainly brighten up that area because it's an area people don't pay attention to. It's just somewhere to park your car.
But if you came into town and you parked your car, even if you didn't and you had time to spend in the town, you'd come up and you'd have a look at it. The next person is who? General O'Brien, John Thomond O'Brien.
And
well, he was an extraordinary person because he was born in Main Street in Baltinglass. The O'Briens, there were people from Baltinglass, but he went to South America. He joined the army and he went to South America, and he was one of the founders of the states or the countries in America, South America. In the 1810s, and South America was owned by the Spanish. Mm-hmm. The Spanish royal family, if you like to call it, and juntas were formed, and they wanted to make all the countries in South America republics, and he got in with General San Martin. He's aide-de-camp, and they literally founded the countries of Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, Colombia, Peru, and the one that John Thomond O'Brien was mostly associated with was Chile. And he's very fondly remembered there over the years, and he's one of the founding fathers of Chile. So he is. And he was born in Baltinglass.
Well, we have one memorial to him because his descendants came back 15 years ago or so.
That's right, yeah.
The time that the Historical Society launched this compendium of information about him, and they donated the plaque that's now on the front of the library.
I actually visited his grave in Argentina.
All right.
Yeah. Mimosa, I think is the name of the area. I visited his grave about in the, I suppose 2010, I think, around that time.
And a new biography was published last year.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
Tim Fanning.
Yeah.
So.
But he's an extraordinary character. He was one of the founders of all the countries in South America. You take that, and all these people. The names wouldn't and the battles wouldn't mean anything to people in Ireland, but the people out there, they were huge.
Yeah. He died in Lisbon on his way back to South America, and I visited outside the house that he died in. I went out of my way to find it, and the church he was.
That's the same. I went in Argentina. I went to the graveyard, and I think Eva Perón is buried in the same graveyard.
All right. Yeah.
So it was extraordinary, and I went looking for his grave. So.
And then we have Jenny Wise Power.
Well, Jenny Wise Power is the best known, probably because she's Irish. She's associated with the Irish Rebellion in 1916. But Jenny Wise Power was born in Main Street, Jenny O'Toole, and she joined the Land League in 1881, and she was in that. And from that until 1936, she was in politics, in Irish politics, and that was through an extraordinary time in Irish politics. She started off, and the name of her book is From Parnell to De Valera, and that sums her life up. She was with Parnell, she was with Davitt, she was with Griffith, up to De Valera, all through the War of Independence, and she was president of Cumann na mBan, and she was in the Senate from the very beginning until it closed in 1936. She was a senator,
and that book you mentioned by Mary O'Neill. I think that's the only biography that has been written of her. But in recent years, with the centenary of the various things coming up, her place seems to have become more established in Irish politics.
Well, it should really, because she was very good friends with Constance Gore Booth, or Countess Markovich, if you like to call her, and a lot of these people of that era, she was with them all the time. And you look at photographs of all these famous women, and she was a suffragette as well. And you look at all those photographs, and Jenny is in all those photographs.
Yeah.
But she never got the recognition that she Skeffington or any of the rest of them got. She never got it.
Well, she seems to be getting it now.
She's getting it now.
Yeah.
She's getting it now. And that's why these people should be remembered in the town they were born in.
Yeah.
Like Baltinglass is a small town, and we should use whatever history and whatever we have on people and famous people in the town. Now, there's a few more as well that you could, but these are the three people that stand out.
Well, the three most prominent people. And they've had biographies written on them, so yeah. Well, we go down and have a closer look at the wall. Well, there's a huge space.
There's space there. You have space there. 1, 2, 3, and you have another one there if you want to do something later on.
Yeah.
So,
Jenny Wise Power.
There,
I don't know where we.
Where's John Thomond O'Brien?
That's it, yeah.
There's. You see that?
People don't notice it so much.
That's the plaque to Jenny. See, she was, as you can see, she was a senator from 1922 to 1936. That was a complete.
Yeah.
That was the life of the Senate that time.
Yeah. And as you said, she was born here, and you
She
were
was
born
here.
You were born
I was
next
born
door.
next door.
Doyle's. It's now Horns.
So now Horns, yeah.
So she's
there
your
was
next door neighbour.
There were Doyles here when I grew up. There were Doyles living in here. Brendan Doyle was living here. John R. Doyle.
They
lived there, and we were neighbours.
Yeah.
and there were burns. The whole street has changed, you know.
Yeah.
But Jenny O'Toole she was, and
the O'Tooles they moved to Dublin when she was about 2 or so, but her relatives were still here.
She met Wise Power. Wise Power was arrested, I think, in Baltinglass.
Yeah, he was a reporter covering the Land League.
That's right.
And she was here with the Women's Land League promoting it.
Yeah.
So that's how she met him. And then he became the first editor of the Leinster Leader.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Before they moved to Dublin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But she was only 23 when she joined the Land League. She was only a young girl.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little bit of a rough history now. But this is why it puts it into my mind. And I'm probably one of the oldest people living in Baltinglass now. But, you know, and I'd like to see the town is looking very well, but I'd like to see little things like that brighten it up and bring people into the town.
Yeah.
And if people came into the town and parked their car and had a few minutes to spend, they'd go up and have a look. I guarantee you they'd go up and have a look at the mural before they'd have a look at the statues.
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
They're more attractive. They're more
attractive. I know they're probably harder to keep and that later on, but that's another story.
Well, I think it's a great idea.
You know? So let's see. We hope something might come of it.
Well, we'll see what people on Facebook think of your idea.
Exactly, yeah.